Hi peeps. It's been a while. To be honest, I've just been feeling down and out and really low about everything that's been going on politically and the fascism and authoritarianism that we are in the midst of. So since I couldn't be positive, I decided just to turn things off for a bit. But this week, there have been a lot of amazing turn of events and a lot of encouraging moments that really demonstrate, the resilience and where people are standing up against Trump. And I think it's important for us to acknowledge those. So here we go. Big news. Yesterday, Susan Crawford, a liberal judge, won a pivotal election for the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Ended up preserving that 4-3 liberal majority despite having significant opposition from Trump and Musk. This was one of the most expensive judicial races in U.S. history. Musk put $23 million into her opponent's campaign, but Crawford still won by 10 points. And this really ensures that key issues like abortion rights and redistricting remain protected. But this is also a powerful rebuke to attempts by wealthy elites to dominate democracy. In addition, they elected Joe Underly as superintendent of public education, which reinforced their support for public schools. Just going to show that the many is more powerful than the money. Really close margins in the two Florida special elections that were also held yesterday. These were heavily Republican districts in Florida, and the results were narrower than expected victories for the two GOP candidates. While the Republicans have retained the seats, Democrats certainly made significant inroads and reduced margins in the districts that Trump had won by large numbers just months ago. This is really demonstrative of the growing energy among Democratic voters and the shifts in public opinion as we head into midterms. The people do have power. Of course, yesterday we also saw the conclusion of Senator Cory Booker's extraordinary speech on the Senate floor, which set a record for the longest continuous address in modern history. His speech was a very passionate protest against Trump and his policies and warning of the harmful impacts on those. And although essentially this effort has no legislative impact, it did give a voice to Americans. He read a lot of letters from constituents from all over the country and the impact these policies are having. And it really symbolized defiance against complacency. It underscored the urgency of resisting authoritarian figures. And it was finally symbolic of Democratic leadership stepping up and speaking out, even though, in my opinion, it's very late to the game. Nonetheless, it was nice to see some of that fight and fire. There's also been a lot more public outcry and outrage over the detention of immigrants and the treatment of those immigrants. There have been a number of reports that have surfaced about individuals who are being detained without due process or even proper arrest warrants. Some of these are even being reported as bureaucratic errors, but the administration is saying, "Oh, sorry, there's nothing we can do about it." The shocking case of 260 Venezuelan immigrants sent to this prison in El Salvador under very questionable legal pretenses. And people are speaking out and fighting back. Families, lawyers, activists are all rallying against these injustices, and we're seeing more media coverage. This fight isn't just about individual cases. It's about challenging an immigration system that undermines basic human rights. And we need to continue to be outspoken about these horrific acts and the behavior of the United States government. And then we've got to acknowledge the growing power of collective action. There are boycotts for corporations like Target and Walmart and Tesla, protests against unjust immigration policies. People are standing up in unprecedented ways and making their voice heard. And when the consumers unite, whether it's through economic resistance or public demonstrations, they're sending a very clear message that accountability matters. And the numbers, the amount of protests, all that is being paid attention to. And it does have an impact. Everyone's well aware of the Tesla slump, a 13% drop in vehicle deliveries this quarter compared to last year. The Tesla takedown protests. These are global rallies that are having a huge impact on Elon Musk and the bottom line. They're hitting Tesla where it hurts. Major retailers like Target and Walmart are also feeling the heat. The People's Union USA spearheaded a lot of the economic blackouts, which are still happening today. And Target saw a 9% drop in foot traffic and continue to see a very large drop in foot traffic. Walmart is experiencing a similar decline. And so those kinds of campaigns are really important and having a large impact. The cracks are showing. Signalgate, American Oversight is suing the Trump administration for their role in that. More incompetence this week coming out about Gmails used in national security. Countries around the world are currently preparing for mass retaliatory actions in response to Trump's liberation tariffs, which hit today. These are victories and ongoing battles that remind us resistance works when we act together. Whether we're holding corporations accountable or we're fighting for justice for immigrants, every voice matters in this fight for fairness and democracy. So be aware of the positive things that are happening. Use them as fuel for future fights. Stay vocal. Be active. Be a voice in this fight against fascism, authoritarianism, oligarchy, criminal actions that are happening by our government, racism, and bigotry. Together we rise, united we stand. And there is courage in chaos.